Hello and welcome to the Swan Song Project Podcast. My name is Ben Buddy Slack and I'm the founder of the Swan Song Project and the host of this podcast. The Swan Song Project is a charity and we help people facing the end of their lives or dealing with the bereavement to write and record their own original songs. We believe in celebrating lives, making memories and leaving legacies. If you'd like to find out more about the charity, you can check out our website, which is swansongproject.co.uk. The podcast features songwriters, and each week I ask them to share with us one of their songs, share a songwriting tip with us, and also share a song that's meaningful to them in some way relating to bereavement. This episode features Stuart Earl, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so today I'm here with Stuart Earl. Thanks for joining me, Stuart.
Pleasure, Ben. Nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to speaking to you. I was just admiring Stuart's setup before we started recording.
I've arranged the background, okay? I'm not going to show you the rest of it because it's piled against the walls.
Yeah, that's what mine's like. That side of the room you don't want to look at, but this part's all right.
Exactly. So yeah, this is my den. Welcome to my den.
Yeah, it's very nice. Looking forward to talking songwriting with you. For anyone who's new to these podcasts, we're doing in 3 sections. First, we're going to have one of my guest songs. We're going to have a little chat about how they wrote it. Section 2, I'll ask Stuart to share with us a songwriting tip. And then section 3, we're going to talk about a song that's meaningful to Stuart in some way relating to bereavement. So I'll ask you to introduce your song for us, please, Stuart.
Okay. Well, this is a song that is out on the new album, New album,
Nice.
Cowboy State of Mind. And this is called The Old Man by the Sea. And, well, take it away and we'll talk about it afterwards. 1, 2.
Southern sun, it dries the delta mud to dust. Winter rain, it drives this old car to rust. I'm an all-American boy. In God we trust. Did my time in Army Greens, courtesy of the Marines. Spent my time in Vietnam, turned a boy into a man. I see the old man by the sea. Say there's a big one there for me. I'm gonna be here for the rest of my days, 'cause time is all I've got. "30 years of driving trucks. You could say I pushed my luck. From North Dakota to Abilene, every truck stop in between. In 2 years gone, I lost the woman I loved. We're taken early by the Lord above. I know we'll meet again someday. Till then I cast away. I see the old man by the sea. Say there's a big end of the day, you will find me here. I'll be fishing in the sun. The sun goes down, my time is done. I'm the old man by the sea. There's a big one there for me. I'm gonna be here for the rest of my days, 'cause time is all I got. I'm the old man by the sea. There's a big one there for me. I will hold you for the rest of my days, 'cause time is all I got. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. So that was The Old Man by the Sea by Stuart Earl. And that was a live video of you performing it last year sometime.
Yes, we were lucky enough, I'm pleased to say, to get, once lockdown had started, we got a gig in October. So it was in between lockdowns, really, when things seemed to be getting better, but in actual fact weren't. No. So we did a duo gig at the Goodshed in Tetbury, which is a lovely venue. And yeah, so that was recorded there. Yeah.
Nice. What was it like doing that gig? I'm assuming that was the first gig you'd done.
Fabulous. But it was a bit like waking up out of a dream in that, yeah, C chord, right, okay. And what comes next? And it was a bit like that, you know.
Yeah.
When you get into the swing of gigging, it's fine. But it was a bit of a shock to the system. But it was lovely.
Yeah. I had the same. I did one gig in that kind of time period, you know, like between the lockdowns. And it's a similar thing where, like, you know, normally it feels like second nature when you go on stage a lot, but then first time doing it again was. But yeah, it's going to be exciting to get back to regular gigging again.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah. But yeah, onto the song. What can you tell us about writing that one then?
Okay, well, it stems from, I think it was 2016. In actual fact, my brother and I were organising a trip to the States. But meanwhile, my father died, and we ended up literally after, just a few days after the funeral, we actually went off to the States on this road trip, which was a bit odd, really, because I wasn't feeling too great myself about it all. But we did a great trip. We went to Nashville and Memphis and all this sort of stuff, and we'd had a couple of days in New Orleans, and we were on our way into Texas, because actually we'd got tickets for Bad Company and Joe Walsh, who were playing in Houston.
Oh, nice.
So we're sort of off we go, which was great. But on the way, the way we went was along the Texas coast, and there's a place, and if you put the video that I sent you as well, there's pictures of where this was. It's a place called the Bolivar Peninsula, which is really just a spit of land along the coast, and it ends up literally just over the water from Galveston. So you get the ferry to Galveston from there, and it's an odd place because all the houses are built on stilts about 30 foot up in the air, so the sea can wash under them when the storms come in. So obviously they're quite used to the sort of hurricane season, I guess. But it was just a very strange place to be with all these places. And anyway, it was really hot, so we stopped by the side of the road and just for cold drink, and got talking to this old guy who was fishing. And he had a little Jack Russell called Jamaica, and he was just really, brown, sunburnt, fishes all day. And he was just telling us that since his wife died, that's what he does. He just takes his little dog fishing, and he had a car parked reversed up to the sea, and he sleeps in his car with the dog, and he gets up in the morning, goes fishing, and then at night he just gets in the back of the car and goes to sleep again, which is sort of nice, sort of sad, and it just came out of that, really. It was just a story of meeting him and his backstory. So that was that's the basis of it, really.
Yeah. So
nice guy.
Yeah. It's a cool story, and it's I love those kind of like chance interactions.
Yeah. It was pure chance.
Yeah. And then how long did you stay talking to him for?
Oh, we were only there, I don't know, probably an hour, I guess.
That's nice. Yeah, it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, like when I first heard it, it's like it's a nice, for a lot of people. That'd be one of my best mates is a keen fisherman, and that'd be his dream in some ways, to just fish all day.
Well,
every day.
yeah.
But then the element of his wife passing and things like that.
Indeed, yeah. So we had nothing else to do other than go fishing, which was quite sort of nice. I'd say quite sad, really.
Yeah. It's a powerful story. And so is all the stuff in the song true about the his life and everything like that? Is it all stuff he told you?
He had a Marine's cap on, baseball cap. So I took it from that he'd been in the Marines, and he was old enough to, if you sort of went backwards in years, for him to have been in Vietnam. So that's how I set him in originally in Vietnam, and took it from there. And so the basis of the story is true, but then
bit of artistic license
elements to help it along, really.
Yeah. Did you know it? Artistic license, I call it.
Yeah. That's it.
Did you know? When did you write the song? Did you know as soon as you'd met him that you were going to do a song about it, or was it a while afterwards you got the idea?
I felt inspired when I met him, but I didn't do anything until I got back home with that particular thing. And of course, had a few shots there. And the great thing is, if you go onto Google Maps, you can actually go back there, and in one of them, Google Maps, because it does it in time zones as well, you can actually see his car there as well.
Oh, nice.
So it's slightly bizarre. So I didn't dream it all; it actually happened.
Yeah. And he actually is there all the time.
Yeah.
Google Maps are getting him.
Yeah, strange.
Yeah, that's really good. What was it? Was it like? Did it resonate for you? Like, I didn't know about. It was your father who passed just before you went. So yeah, sorry to hear that. And what was it like then? Was there a connection there with him in terms of his loss? Did it resonate for you?
Well, I guess, yeah. I guess, yeah. It put a dent in the holiday spirit. In that, in fact, it's sort of, I was feeling a bit stressed, and I didn't really enjoy everything as much as I could have done or should have done, I suppose. But that's life, I guess. Gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and with those kind of things, with like big trips like that, especially that take a long time to plan and a lot of expensive. It's when a tragedy happens, then it's and
of course it was for both of us because my brother was with me as well. So it was
well, hopefully it helped with your grieving process in some way, having something like that going on.
Yeah. I've I guess as well, I've written the odd song about him, as well as they've never seen the light of day. Because I don't think I don't know. It didn't seem right at the time, but maybe I'll dig it out and have a think about it.
Yeah.
But you do use all those sort of feelings and put them into songs all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm a big believer in even if you're writing songs, that not all songs have to be shared either. That the purpose of writing the song might just be the writing of that song and exercise.
But we have a thing in this house. My wife believes that every song I write is about her, so I just have to agree with her. Even if it's a good song or a bad song, or I'm doing naughty stuff in the song, whatever, it's all about her. That's fine. We have an understanding.
Yeah, I guess you have to be careful with your with
Yeah.
how far you go into.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I used to feel a lot. I used to write a lot more character songs than I do now. I still like to write character songs, but when I was younger, lots of my songs were very, and like quite dramatic characters and stuff like that. And then sometimes now when I try and go into those characters, I'm like, I can't say that because people just go, "That's not Ben. That's not." You wouldn't say something like that.
Yeah,
When I was younger, I used to be much more comfortable with like, "Oh, this is the character who's in this song." It's a funny thing,
How do you
isn't it?
stand on political correctness then, Ben? Because sometimes, even though you don't mean it, things can be misconstrued.
Yeah, and it can be it can be a tricky thing with songs, especially. I know Nick Cave's come up with some stuff about this recently, and Nick Cave was talking about it in regards to Fairy Tale of New York. Someone had asked him about his opinion of that, and lots of Nick Cave songs are quite vulgar, and some of his older ones anyway are quite a lot of colourful language in them, you could say.
Yeah,
and it's where you separate the art from, and like if a character in something says something, then those characters exist. So I don't think you should not include those mindsets. But then it's easy for people to interpret everything that someone puts out as their view, whereas really it's like this is talking about someone else entirely. But it is
because
it's tricky ground.
A lot of what you write into a song is translated by the listener, and it's different every time for every listener often. So it's a sad thing if things are misunderstood from that point of view, I think.
Yeah, and it's something that, like, as a songwriter, I don't think, like, you can't hold you want to make things as clear as you can in terms of what you want to say, but also you can't be responsible for people's interpretations of stuff. I remember hearing Springsteen talk about that with Born in the USA, about how often that's been misinterpreted. And I think I can't remember if he said when he was younger it bothered him, but then he got to a point where it's like, I wrote what I wanted to write, and I think it's clear. But if people don't listen to the whole message, then there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're writing a song that is so descriptive that the listener doesn't have any thing of their own to put into it. If you see what I mean. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, because because part of the greatness of art and stuff is that mystery, isn't it? And that kind of that interpretation people can have on things.
I try not to be too literal in what I write, because I do want people to put their own take of the song into it in their own listening area, if you like. It's an interesting area.
And it's something that I sometimes like. I used to be, when I was first getting into songwriting, I was really obsessed with like wanting to know what every song was about and how it was written and things like that.
Right.
And then I kind of pulled back a lot from that. Like I'm a big Tom Waits fan and big Dylan fan, and they're both quite, like they don't want to talk about what the songs are about at all because they don't want to take that away from the listeners. It wants to be a mystery. But then in some ways, I really like that now. We respect it. But then on the same hand, I'm hosting a podcast where I ask songwriters to tell me how they write their songs.
I know.
So I feel a bit conflicted at times.
To the new Bob Dylan album, I guess you've heard that, have you?
The Rough and Rowdy Ways.
Blimey. I mean, his mastery of lyrics is just stunning.
Yeah,
I was blown away by it.
Yeah.
And the album and the music, he has a fantastic band. And I think you've got to be in the mood for him sometimes. Sometimes he's doesn't fit. But I listened to that and I thought, blimey, how the hell does he write stuff like that? Because it's just fantastic.
Yeah. And there's loads of Dylan songs that I just love, and I love listening to them over and over again. And part of what I love about listening to them again is that I feel like it's a different song almost every time I listen to it, because there'll be a different lyric that I hadn't paid attention to before. I'm like, what does that mean? And how does that connect to this other part of the song? And if Dylan had said, like, right, this song, this is what this is all about, this is exactly what I meant here, I would be a bit like, oh, that's taken that a layer away from me in a way.
Yes, exactly. I like the song where he's making somebody up out of body parts. It's just great. Brilliant.
I read it's a great book that I read actually not long ago called is it Why Dylan Matters?
Okay.
It's called. It's a fairly new one. It's one my dad lent it to me. And it's like a Harvard professor, I think, writing about Dylan, and he's kind of comparing him to a lot of the great poets. So at some parts it was a bit too intellectual for me, but there was lots of it in it that I found really interesting, of just kind of writing techniques that Dylan encompasses that I like, were way over my head. But when I'm reading about it, like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, that's what this lyric might be talking about.
Okay, I must do some research on it, because I was just stunned.
It's a good book. I think it's fairly recent still. Yeah. Back to your song though, one thing that I liked about it as well is obviously linking to the Swan Song Project is a big thing that's important to us is, you know, everyone has their song, regardless of what kind of life they've had and what it is. It's like everyone's got a song to be sung, and what you've kind of done here is giving that guy, that fisherman, a song. And it's, you know, it's about finding those. So a lot of time with Swan Song, we get some people come to us and they're like, oh, I've not really had an interest in life, or I don't really have anything particular to say. And then part of the job is having those conversations with them and finding what it is.
I should try and find him and send it to him, because he has no idea.
Yeah, if you ever go back, see if he's still there. And
yeah, probably is.
I'm sure he'd be very flattered about it.
Absolutely, his beard will be even longer than yours, I think. It'll still be there.
Yeah. How did you have a musical style and things in mind for it when you wrote it, or was there anything particular influence that, or did
No,
it just come out?
It just came out as I suppose it is a very much a country sort of song. There's a feel about it, you know. That was fine, but when I started playing it to my bandmates, they said, what's going on? You can't do this. And I said, what do you mean? And it was the song's in C, key of C, and that's fine. But in the chorus, it moves up to E flat. And you see, you can't just change the key like that and go, well, you can, because it works. So let's just be happy about that. But yeah, it took that was floored a few people along the way. That
unexpected. How did you do that then? So like, for people who may not know about music, like you have kind of standard chords that fit together in a key, don't you? And so E flat wouldn't traditionally be one that would go with. And so a lot of the time when you're writing a song, if you're starting in C, you'll know like, well, I might go to a G, I might go to an A minor, and an F. Exactly, these kind of common chords that fit with that thing. So when you got to that E flat, was it just let's see how this sounds, or
no? The only reason I got that was I had it where I was going in my head, and that was just where I was going. So
okay, so you had was it the tune you had in your head first, and then the chords just followed from there?
Yeah. So I was definitely in the country chord thing, but then I knew where I wanted to go on the chorus, and that was the only chord that fitted. So that's where it had to go. So that's where it ended up. Yeah.
Nice.
But I don't. I think this is an advantage. I don't have any musical training at all. I'm purely self-taught, self-abused. Call it what you want. But I think that's an advantage in that to go off piste like that is easy for me, because I don't have anything that holds me back to it.
Yeah.
It's just a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
A lot of my musical friends, have training or whatever, and they look at things in a different way. And sometimes I need that different way that they've got. Sometimes I need my own way.
Yeah.
So it's getting all those bits together, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Do you write with your band a lot
then? I generally write on my own, and then I'll bash it to several people for comment and verbal abuse, things like that.
It's a fun process, isn't it?
You never know, do you?
I always love that when you've sent out an idea and it's that kind of like, oh geez, like no matter how many times I've done it, I always get a bit nervous about it. Yeah, because it's always sharing something new, isn't it? It's always
absolutely, because you're opening yourself up to, sort of these feelings that maybe you shouldn't be. You think I don't know, but why are they ringing? Do they not like it immediately, or why haven't they rung in the last 3 days? Means they don't like it at all, you know.
Yeah.
So the paranoia of a songwriter.
Yeah. All part of the fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Brilliant. Good stuff, Stuart. So let's move into section 2 now, shall we? So this is where I ask my guests to share with us a songwriting tip.
Oh my God.
So what would your tip be for us, Stuart?
Do it. No, my tip is based on do it, basically. I have usually 5 or 6 songs in work in progress at any one time. And that's a very loose thing. It can be a couple of chords, it can be a scrawled verse, or I tend to put have notes on here which I put little bits of lyrics on that I hang on to until I can work on them properly. But a song isn't a song unless you finish it. So my advice to people is just get it finished. Don't rush it, because I think there is a thought process to let things go round in your head, to take form, if you like, to take its own way. And if you rush it, then, well, maybe that works for some people, and some songs just come out onto the paper. But some songs take some time to percolate through the thought process, and along the way they gather a bit of flavor and a bit of moss, and you put them together. But get them finished, get them down, get them into an album, get the album out. I launched an album in July, in the middle of lockdown. I could have held on to it, and I could have launched it this year or next year. What's the point of that? Just get it out there, do it.
I'm always very impatient when I finish something as well. When something's done, like I want to be sharing it. It's
yeah. But I haven't been able to launch that album because we couldn't. So from that point of view, I've got plenty over there waiting for me to start gigging. So hopefully I can sell a few.
Yeah.
Because the sales of CDs on the internet is pretty dire.
Yeah.
It's almost non-existent because everybody's streaming. So CDs are basically now, I think, something for selling at gigs.
Yeah, I think people are more inclined to buy them at a gig, Alex. It's it's a CD, but it's also like a token of that night in a way, isn't it? Like,
indeed. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. How often do you write then? So, like, I agree that just doing it is a great piece of advice for songwriting. That, like, and for any creative practice, in a way of like, just the only way to do it is to do it. Like,
absolutely.
You can get the paralysis by analysis, so I can't.
Absolutely. But if you look at it in a month's time and you think, oh, that's rubbish, well, then you can rewrite it, can't you?
Yeah.
It's not illegal.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Yeah. Write as many times as you want to write it. Yeah,
absolutely. You often find people like Chris Rea used to do it all the time. He used to have, and I'm sure he didn't do it consciously, he used to have bits of his writing, if you like, that used to appear in different songs on different albums. Slightly odd thing, but I'm sure it's just his part of his armory, if you like, that he uses. Oh, that can go straight in there, type of thing. But he actually probably didn't even realize that he used that on a song 3 albums ago or whatever. What does it matter?
Yeah. They can all just keep recycling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've had it with sometimes. I've had like a little section of lyric that I've really liked, and I've written the song over and over and over again in different formats. I never found like I've still got bits from years and years ago now that but it'll keep in that notebook until it'll link with another idea at some point.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many times you throw it about.
Yeah, quite right.
So how often do you write? So you mentioned beforehand that you've obviously got more time at the minute with the lockdown, but do you have a schedule, or do you just write when you feel like it? Or?
No, I sort of write when I feel like it. So I tend to do little bits of guitar late at night. But sitting down in the silence, just doing lyrics or with a guitar, for me is the best way. I can't do it with a room full of people.
Yeah.
I'd love to write with somebody else, but I haven't done that yet. I'm not going to be doing it at the moment, that's for sure. But I try to do something every day. But this morning I was trying to do some lap steel on a song that I've got in progress, because over the lockdown period, I've got probably the next album bare bones of, and I'm trying to put that together at the moment. So it's a distraction to try and do lap steel and get that sounding right. And
nice.
But by the time you've redone it 60 times, you're just about getting there. But,
is that something new to you then, the lap steel?
Sorry?
Is the lap steel something new to you then?
No, I've played lap steel for a while, but I'm not an expert in
Just,
it. I do open tuning stuff and slide, but lap steel with a proper steel, as it were, like this
nice.
type of thing. There's an art to that as
It's a
well.
bit different,
Yeah.
Nice.
But,
yeah. Do you when you're writing, do you think of songs in terms of the albums? Like, do you think when you just write and then pile them
just
together?
write
You
a
don't.
song. Yeah.
It's not like a project of this is going to be an album
No.
around these.
Well, I did. Well, because I wrote. I have an album theme to a non-existent soundtrack, which is the Jesse James inspired album. So that's the theme from start to finish. So from that point of view, I did write that album as an album. And it's one continuous thing. So everything flows into everything else. So Ben, it's a concept album.
I'm familiar with them.
I'm so 70s. But yeah, and that was great fun to do. I mean, it's sold negligible copies because I haven't put it out to stream, because it's one of those things that you need to sit down and listen to it rather than potentially put it on shuffle. You're going to get in a right confusing state with it. So yeah, but generally I would write a song, and if it fits onto an album, fine. If it doesn't, then it ends up in the waiting room over there.
How did you find the concept album project thing? It's something I've done in the past. I really enjoyed having an overarching narrative and then choosing how the songs are going to tell that story.
Yeah.
How did you find doing it? And was it so it's Jesse James based story?
Yes. Yeah. How did I find doing it? It was a labor of love. It was exciting. It was great to do. But it was a long job. It took far too long to do. Far too much time spent on it, and I think we would have benefited from doing it shorter and sharper, and then rearranging it once we'd done it into reordering everything. And do we need to do? I don't know. It's one of those things that I think every bit of work that you do, if you could, then you would redo it, because you'd want to redo that bit, or I didn't quite like that bit listening back to it now. And yeah, it's a good album, and it's a good 40-minute listen. But there was a lot went into it. Yeah, there's some grey hairs out of that one.
Did you write other songs when you were doing it? Did you have like?
Yes. Yeah.
So you had that project, but then you also, if you got another idea that didn't fit with the Jesse James thing,
absolutely. I had that, and I had other stuff on the boards as well. But we decided to actually, me and the guy who engineered it, if you like, and helped me co-produce it. We decided that we'd take that one because it was a story, it was a focus, and we'd go for that. So yeah,
sounds good.
That's right.
And people can order that through your website, can they?
They can, if they contact me through Facebook is probably the easiest way, to be honest, because I'm just rearranging my sales on the web at the moment, because it's the way I set it up was pretty inefficient and costly. So I'm just trying to reorganize that.
Yeah, that's another minefield in itself.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But yeah, I'll tag your pages and stuff in the description of this as well, so people can find you on there on Facebook or wherever if they would like to order a copy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great stuff. So yeah, let's move into section 3 now, shall we? So this is where I ask my guests to share with us a song that's meaningful to them in some way relating to bereavement. And so for this one, we've got another video of one of your songs, haven't we?
Yes. And I did the video for this last week, although the song appears on my first album, which is that one, more adverts. And it's obviously the last one on the album, and it's called The End of the Road. So it is a song about coming to the end of your life, really. That's not necessarily through personal experience, obviously, because I'm still here. But, and long may that continue. But yeah, it was just a feeling, and yeah, that's how it came out, really.
been thinking, I've been drinking again. I've been hoping and smoking, my friend. I will drive this old Ford with all my friends on board and drive it to the end of the road. End of the road, end of the road. I will make my amends, put down this heavy load. I will drive this old Ford with all my sins on board. Now drive it to the end of the road. I've been trying, I've been crying again. I've been wondering when this life will end. If I had time on my side, I'd take you for a ride. But I'm heading to the end of the road. End of the road. I will make my amends, put down this heavy load. I will drive this old Ford with all my sins on board and drive it to the end of the road. End of the road, end of the road. I will make my amends, put down this heavy load. I will drive this old Ford with all my sins on board, and I'll drive it to the end of the road.
Okay, brilliant. So that was End of the Road by Stuart Earl. So you said that was off. What's your first album called? You said that one.
It was called My Name is Earl.
It's a famous TV show as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a good idea to have the name in the first place, but then looking back, it was probably a disastrous idea. And if I'd have made anything of my career, I would have been sued. I'm sure. But there you go.
It's a bit hard for people to find on Google.
Yeah, it's hard to argue because my name is Earl. So
it's fact.
Yeah, I got here first. Get lost. Yeah, but yes. So that was my the chap that was playing guitar for me, Lyndon, on Old Man by the Sea. This was recorded in his attic. The My Name is Earl album.
And so what inspired you to write the song, and what was your kind of thinking at the time of writing it?
I don't know. I must have had some kind of melancholy sort of feeling about it, really, because it has a sort of hymn-like feel to it, especially the studio version, because it's got a bit of that sort of old church organ in it, which, you know, I was brought up with, going to Sunday school and, you know, from a small village in the Midlands. So, yeah, I don't know. It just somehow struck a chord, that one.
It wasn't
No, it wasn't a personal experience at all. But I don't know. It just one of those things. Just came out of nowhere.
Just came out, yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you have similar experiences, Ben. That
yeah.
For whatever reason, things just appear.
Things just come out at different times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. You've also been doing a kind of podcast yourself during lockdown.
Yes, it was, I guess, last March or early April last year when things got a bit silly, and yes, so we came up with a thing called the Songbook Sessions, which I put together here, and it's obviously it's a vehicle for me because I can do videos and bits and pieces and put those on, which I do. But I also generally have a guest, so I'll do this type of interview. It's almost the same, and usually get them to do 2 or 3 songs, or if it's somebody who doesn't want to particularly perform, then I'll maybe use their historical videos to break up the conversation, really. And then other musical connections that I've got, then I'll get them to do videos and bits and pieces and put a show together, which is usually sort of 45, 50 minutes. And we've got to show 21 at the moment over that period. So there's enough there to like a sort of Netflix series binge. If anybody wants to see them, they're all on the Earl Facebook page. And after a few weeks, I move them over to YouTube as well, so that they're all on one playlist.
Brilliant.
So yeah, so that's good. It's good fun. I like doing it. It's a lot of work, as you know, but it's good because it's got me into streaming. So understanding how streaming works. Sometimes it works.
Do you do them live or do you?
No, I pre-record them.
Yeah,
and then stream them live onto Facebook, as it were.
Okay.
Which sometimes works, mostly. Didn't last week because my computer crashed, literally just in the last song. But that's okay because I've got a whole show and I can then upload it again, and that was fine. I've done a few live things. Generally, I do the songbook sessions every 2 weeks. So in the intervening week, I do a 10-minute session on a Wednesday, and I'll do a cover version or just talk or whatever for 10 minutes, and then that's that. Just to keep the thing alive more than anything else,
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, numbers are good for it. Well, I think they're good. But I need to get out with it a bit more. I don't know how long I can keep it going. My ideal would be to pay the guests for doing it. At the moment, nobody earns anything out of it. And it takes a hell of a lot to do it. So I would like to pay people if possible, because let's face it, people aren't getting paid a lot for gigs at the moment, are they?
Yeah.
But I'd need a sponsor to be able to do that. It's hard.
Yeah. There's a lot more work goes into these things than people might realise, I think, at times.
Yeah, it's been interesting learning video editing. So the quality that I'm producing has gone up in the last few months, that's for sure, because I've upgraded the camera here, and I've also changed horses from a software point of view for video editing. So that's good. Pleased with that. But it's like loads, there's just loads to learn with those things, those programs. They're massive.
Yeah.
But it's getting there.
Excellent.
Try not to be too novel with all the toys and bells and whistles and having things explode on the screen, and just get on with presenting it and just do nice transitions and do it like that. But,
yeah, it sounds great. Well,
it's a good thing to do, and I'm sure you enjoy it.
I really like the just connecting with people. And it's nice, it's nice. What I'm really enjoying with this is getting to meet lots of new people. Like we hadn't spoke before, and lots of my guests are making a lot of new friends doing it. And
sure.
And I know people. We get nice comments from people who listen to it and enjoy it, and it's nice just sharing people's music and introducing myself to new people's music, but also other people helping to spread the word about things. And
it just keeps the musical interest going, doesn't it? In some potentially you could be doing nothing.
Yeah,
But
and I mean,
you're doing
like,
something, and it's
yeah,
great.
yeah, that's it. It's better than that because ideally we'd be able to like do gigs together and stuff like that, and that's how you normally get to meet lots of new musicians. But when that's not happening, this is a good alternative.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, I mean, my personal opinion, a lot of people would disagree with me, but the streaming thing is now here to stay, whether we like it or not. I know I really want to get back to doing gigs. My enthusiasm for doing that has not been dulled at all, but I think the streaming thing has arrived, courtesy of the lockdowns, and I think it'll stay now. For good or for bad, better or worse, as it were.
Yeah, hopefully they'll just work alongside each other. We can still do the in-person stuff and do the virtual stuff as well.
Yeah, I think the single person doing the stream for an hour and a half or whatever, I don't think people are going to put up with that for long. I think the thing is, we don't have a great attention span anymore, do we? As just in general. So I think we've got to be fairly short and sharp with what we do, and it's time for some more music, or let's do this or talk to that. But just one person doing that for an hour or whatever is just not sure people can cope with that anymore, unless they're in the same room. But that's a different thing,
That's it. I think it's hard to keep the things as engaging as when you're actually in person with someone.
Indeed.
Even when like I watch some live streams, so some of my big heroes in a way, then it's like it's just not obviously it's not the same, but it's you find yourself it's harder to pay attention for as long watching a performance as you would do in person.
Definitely.
Great stuff. Well, thanks a lot for your time, Stuart. And
Ben, it's lovely to meet you.
Yeah,
hopefully
likewise.
We can we'll meet somewhere along the gigging road at some point.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so.
Hope it's not too long.
Yeah. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure, Stuart. And I'll tag all your pages and everything so people can follow you and check out the songbook sessions as well.
Brilliant. Good luck to you guys.
Songwriting content. Yeah. Thank you very much, Stuart.
Bye.
And thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll be back with another episode soon.